My chosen one. This is not a coincidence. This is not random. And this is not something you were meant to ignore. I, Archangel Michael, stand at the edge of your atmosphere right now, and I am urging you. Open this message immediately because something shocking is going to happen in your house tonight, and you must be ready. You felt it, didn't you? That strange shift in the air. That unexplained heaviness. That sudden wave of restlessness that came without warning. You tried to brush it off. You told yourself it was stress, fatigue, imagination. But your spirit knows better. Tonight is not an ordinary night. There is movement in the unseen realm around your home. There is a spiritual collision approaching your doorway. What happens next will either strengthen your foundation or expose what has been quietly weakening it. Listen carefully. This is not a message of fear. This is a message of preparation. There is an event aligning itself with your household, something that will reveal truth. It may come through a conversation, a phone call, a confession, a sudden realization, or a disturbance that shakes what you thought was stable. And I am begging you to be spiritually alert, because when it happens, your reaction will determine everything. You have been living in a season where certain things were hidden under the surface. Unspoken tensions, silent disappointments, energies that did not belong in your space. You sensed them, but you avoided confronting them. Tonight, concealment loses its power. Something will surface, and when it does, do not panic. I am already stationed at your door. My sword is not raised in destruction. It is raised in protection. But protection requires your awareness. You cannot fight what you refuse to acknowledge. You cannot guard what you pretend does not exist. There hath been a subtle infiltration in your house. Not necessarily physical, but emotional and spiritual. A seed of confusion. A whisper of division. A quiet suggestion that you are alone in your battles. That whisper is a lie. You are not alone. But tonight, that whisper will try one last time to create chaos. Be still. Be discerning. Be grounded. Because the shocking thing that is about to happen is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to wake you. Here is a truth about your environment that you have been sensing but not fully facing. Someone around you may reveal their real intentions. A situation may unfold that exposes hidden motives. Or a long-avoided issue may finally demand attention. When it happens, remember this moment. Remember that you were warned, not to fear, but to prepare. Preparation looks like prayer. Preparation looks like calmness. Preparation looks like refusing to react impulsively. Do not let your emotions take control when the shock hits. That is the trap. The enemy thrives on emotional reactions. Raised voices, hurtful words, rash decisions. But you are called to respond differently. Tonight is a test of maturity, and I need you ready. Before the clock strikes its quiet hour, take a moment. Walk through your house. Stand in each room. Speak peace over it. Declare protection over every corner. Remove any atmosphere of negativity. You may not see what is shifting in the unseen realm, but I do. And I tell you this with urgency. Something will attempt to disturb the harmony of your home tonight. It could be small. It could be subtle. But it will be significant. Do not underestimate it. The shock will come suddenly. That is why I am asking you to open this immediately. Delay would have left you unprepared. But now you are aware. Awareness changes outcomes. When the moment arrives, pause before speaking. Breathe before reacting. Listen before assuming. Because hidden within the shock is revelation, and hidden within the revelation is alignment. Some foundations need shaking so they can be rebuilt correctly. Some relationships need exposure so they can either heal or be released. Some illusions need to shatter so truth can stand. Tonight carries that kind of energy. But you are not powerless. I am assigned to you for protection and clarity. When confusion rises, call my name with faith. When tension fills the room, declare peace with authority. When fear tries to creep in, remind yourself, you were warned and you are ready. Do not ignore small signs tonight. If something feels off, address it calmly. If someone speaks, I expect they listen carefully. If emotions rise, choose wisdom. Because what happens in your house tonight will set the tone for the next season of your life. This is a crossroads moment, and you were chosen to navigate it with strength. Stay spiritually alert. Stay emotionally steady. Stay anchored in truth. The atmosphere is shifting even now, and you must be ready. Beloved guardian of your household, the silence before a shift is often louder than the noise that follows. What I am about to reveal is something you must absorb slowly, because tonight's event is not random, it is strategic. There has been a pattern forming in your house for weeks, maybe even months. Small misunderstandings, subtle emotional distance, affinity conversations, energy that felt unsettled but never fully aggressed. You sensed it, but you chose peace over confrontation. Yet true peace is not the absence of tension, it is the presence of truth. I, Archangel Michael, am not speaking to alarm you. I am speaking to align you. The shock that is coming will not fall from the sky. It has roots. Roots in words unsaid. Roots in attitudes tolerated. Roots in boundaries not enforced. And when something has roots, it eventually pushes through the surface. The night that surface breaks, you may see a side of someone you did not expect. You may hear something that feels sharp and sudden. Or you may witness an emotional release that seemed disproportionate to the situation. But understand this, what erupts tonight was already present. It is simply reaching its appointed moment. This is why your readiness matters. If you respond with anger, the fire spreads. If you respond with ego, the wall rises higher. But if you respond with calm authority, you change the trajectory of your household's future. That is why I am urging you to stay grounded. Your composure is your weapon. Your clarity is your shield. There is also something else. An external influence has been hovering around your space. Not a person necessarily entering your home, but conversations, advice, and outside opinions that have slowly affected the atmosphere within your walls. Be discerning about what energy you allow to shape your environment. Not every voice deserves authority in your house. Tonight will reveal which voices have been influencing decisions behind the scenes. When the revelation happens, do not immediately accuse. Do not assume betrayal without understanding. Sometimes exposure is meant for correction, not separation. Sometimes truth surfaces so healing can begin. But healing only comes when pride steps aside. Look at your surroundings carefully this evening. Notice the tone of conversations. Notice your own internal reactions. If you feel triggered, pause. That pause is where wisdom lies. That breath between impulse and action is where destiny shifts. And hear me clearly. This moment is bigger than one argument or one conversation. It is about the spiritual alignment of your home. Homes are not just walls and furniture. They are atmospheres. They are spiritual territories. What you allow tonight becomes permission for tomorrow. That is why this warning came with urgency. You were not meant to be caught off guard. You were meant to be positioned as the stabilizer, as the calm presence, as the one who refuses to let chaos dictate direction. Some of you listening have already felt tension building throughout the day. Small irritations, minor miscommunications, a sense that something is brewing. That is not your imagination. That is spiritual sensitivity. And instead of dismissing it, lean into awareness. Pray quietly before evening deepens. Speak protection over your doorway. Declare that no misunderstanding will divide what is meant to be united. Declare that truth will come with gentleness. Declare that your home will not be ruled by emotional storms. And let me remind you of something powerful. You have more authority than you realize. You have tolerated things out of fear of confrontation. But tonight, strength wrapped in peace will speak louder than aggression ever could. If this message is already stirring something in you, do not keep it to yourself. There are others who need this warning before their night unfolds. Share this word with someone whose household feels fragile. Like this message so it reaches more souls who are unaware of what is approaching. Comment below if you feel the shift already happening in your space. Your engagement spreads protection farther than you know. And if you have not yet aligned yourself with this channel, subscribe and become part of this growing army of spiritually alert souls. There is power in collective awareness. When you join, you are not just watching, you are standing in agreement with divine order over chaos. Because what unfolds next will reveal how prepared you truly are. Do not look at the clock with fear tonight. Look at it with readiness. When the moment comes, you will recognize it. There will be a sentence spoken, an action taken, or an emotion released that confirms everything you are hearing right now. When that confirmation arrives, remember this voice. Remember that you were positioned ahead of time. And hold steady, because what follows the shock is transformation. What comes next will go deeper than you expect. Hold your focus, because the next revelation will uncover why this night was chosen in the first place. Faithful soul, the reason this night was chosen is not accidental. There are moments in time when heaven allows pressure to rise so that hidden fractures can no longer remain concealed. Tonight carries that weight. What has been quietly forming beneath polite conversations and routine habits will finally demand light. And light does not come to shame you. It comes to set you free. I, Archangel Michael, have watched the silent prayers you whispered when no one else was listening. I saw the confusion you tried to suppress. I witnessed the inner questions you were afraid to voice. You asked for clarity, even if you did not realize that was what you were asking for. And clarity sometimes arrives wrapped in shock. Understand this deeply. The event that unfolds in your house tonight is not a punishment. It is an answer. There has been misalignment in your environment. Not dramatic enough to cause immediate collapse, but subtle enough to weaken the spiritual structure of your home over time. Small compromises, emotional distance, words spoken carelessly and then ignored. And because nothing exploded immediately, everyone assumed everything was fine. But spiritual foundations do not crumble overnight. They erode quietly. Tonight is the interruption of that erosion. You may witness a truth that changes how you see someone. You may hear an admission that forces a necessary conversation. Or you may feel a sudden awareness that something in your house must shift immediately. Whatever form it takes, do not resist it. Resistance will only prolong what heaven is trying to correct. There is also something significant about your role in this moment. You are not just a participant in tonight's event. You are a stabilizer. If you lose control, others will follow. If you remain grounded, others will calm. Your composure carries influence. That is why you were warned ahead of time. Some of you will feel tempted to react defensively. Pride may rise. Hurt may surface quickly. But remember, reaction is easy. Alignment requires strength. If you choose maturity over impulse, you will witness transformation begin immediately. And there is another layer you must not ignore. This shock is not only about exposure, it is about purification. Your home is entering a new season. What does not belong can't cross into that season with you. That includes unresolved tension, hidden resentment, and silent manipulation. When truth surfaces tonight, it may feel uncomfortable, but discomfort is often the doorway to healing. Look around your space this evening with spiritual awareness. Notice the atmosphere. If it feels tense, do not feed the tension. Speak be softly. If confrontation arises, lower your tone instead of raising it. If accusation appears, respond with clarity rather than aggression. Heaven is observing how you steward this moment. And here is what many of you do not yet realize. This night will mark a turning point. The outcome will determine whether your household steps into unity or continues in silent division. Your response holds weight. You asked for breakthrough. Breakthrough often comes disguised as destruction. If something feels like it is breaking apart tonight, pause before assuming it is destruction. Sometimes destruction must crack so light can end. Sometimes conversations must become uncomfortable so honesty can breathe again. Trust that you are protected. Trust that I am guarding your threshold. Trust that whatever is revealed was meant to be revealed now. And when the moment passes, because it will pass, you will look back and understand why this warning was urgent. You will see how close things were to continuing in quiet imbalance. You will recognize that exposure prevented something greater from forming in secrecy. This is divine timing. Now I want you to do something intentional. After listening to this message, stand in the center of your home and declare out loud that truth is welcome, peace is protected, and unity will prevail. Speak it with authority. Atmospheres respond to conviction. If this message resonates with your spirit, if you feel that tonight carries significance, then seal it with agreement. Type "I stand ready" in the comments if you receive this warning. Blessing code 311 is now activated over your household. Let that number remind you that preparation has already positioned you for victory. And as this revelation settles in your spirit, understand that this message is reaching you for a reason. There are many homes walking into tonight unaware of what is forming. When you sow into the spread of this word, you become part of heaven's rescue plan. The scripture declares, "I will send my angel before you to guard you along the way." And tonight that promise is alive over this community. When you release a super thanks, join membership, or give through the PayPal link in the description, you are not funding a platform. You are lighting lamps in darkened houses. You are helping this warning reach the one who is seconds away from reacting in a way they cannot undo. As you sow, you water seeds of protection in families you may never meet. This is your moment to act in obedience. Do not hesitate when your spirit nudges you. Those who give into divine alignment will see alignment multiply in their own homes. Open your hand and let your generosity become a shield over someone else's night. Activate your support now and become a guardian of this mission. The atmosphere is shifting further. Chosen vessel of discernment, there is something deeper moving beneath the surface of this night, and now you are ready to understand it. What is about to unfold in your house is not merely about a single incident or emotional outburst. It is about a cycle that has been repeating quietly, and heaven has decided that the cycle ends now. I, Archangel Michael, have been assigned to watch over transitions in your life. And make no mistake, this is a transition. For some time, your household had been operating on patterns inherited from the past, reactions learned in childhood, communication styles shaped by old wounds, silence used as a shield, anger used as control. These patterns did not begin with you, but they have been flowing through your environment like an unseen current. Tonight, that current will be interrupted. The shocking moment that occurs will expose more than a present issue. It will reveal a root. And when roots are revealed, you are given a choice: continue feeding them or pull them out. You may notice that the conversation or event that erupts feels familiar, almost like you have been here before. The same tone, the same misunderstanding, the same defensive energy. That familiarity is your confirmation. This is a cycle trying to repeat itself one more time. But you are no longer the same version of yourself. You have grown. You have awakened. You have become more spiritually aware. That is why you were warned. Not everyone in your house received this preparation. You did. And because you did, your reaction will disrupt the pattern. There is power in a response that refuses to mirror dysfunction. If someone raises their voice, lower yours. If someone blames, choose accountability for your part without absorbing what does not belong to you. If someone withdraws, remain steady without chasing approval. This is how cycles break. Understand that cycles thrive on predictability. They expect you to react the way you always have. They expect emotion to override wisdom. They expect escalation. But when you choose calm authority instead, you confuse the pattern. You weaken it. Tonight is not about winning an argument. It is about breaking a chain. And chains do not break quietly. There may be tears. There may be silence that feels heavy. There may be truths spoken that sting before they heal. But what you must hold on to is this: disruption is not always destruction. Sometimes it is renovation. Your house cannot step into a new season while carrying old emotional architecture. Something has to shift. You might also notice resistance rising within yourself. A temptation to defend your pride. A desire to be understood immediately. A need to prove your point. Be mindful of that inner surge. It is subtle, but it can derail the breakthrough. Take a breath before every sentence tonight. Let your words be intentional, because your words will either escalate the moment or transform it. There is also a spiritual layer you must recognize. When households approach breakthrough, opposition often intensifies. With communication increases, small irritations feel amplified. That is not coincidence. It is resistance to change. But resistance does not mean retreat. It means you are close. Close to clarity. Close to healing. Close to alignment. You have tolerated certain emotional atmospheres for too long. You have adjusted yourself to keep peace, even when peace required silence about important things. Tonight, however, peace will require courage, not aggression. Courage. Courage to speak truth without hostility. Courage to listen without interruption. Courage to admit where you have been wrong. Courage to set boundaries where necessary. This is spiritual maturity in action. And when the shock comes, and it will, remember that you were not warned to avoid it. You were warned to navigate it wisely. The way you handle tonight will echo into the coming weeks. If you allow chaos to dominate, the cycle tightens. If you introduce calm strength, the cycle loosens. You are stronger than the pattern. You are more aware than the tension. You are more equipped than the atmosphere suggests. There is something powerful about being the prepared one in a room full of unprepared emotions. It gives you quiet authority. It positions you as the anchor. Anchors do not panic when waves hit. They hold. Hold your ground tonight. Do not allow yourself to be pulled into emotional extremes. Extremes cloud judgment. Stability invites resolution. And when the moment begins to settle, you will sense it. The energy will shift. The air will feel different. There will be a pause, a realization that something has changed. That change is the breaking of a pattern. But this is only the surface layer of what is happening. Beneath this disruption lies an even deeper truth about your household, one that connects to purpose, calling, and the reason your home has faced subtle spiritual pressure for so long. The next revelation will uncover why your house has been targeted for refinement instead of comfort. Warrior of quiet strength, now you are ready to hear what many would not be prepared to understand. The reason your house has been under subtle pressure is not because it is weak. It is because it carries purpose. Homes without destiny rarely face refinement. But a house marked for influence will always experience resistance before elevation. I, Archangel Michael, stand where battles are assigned and territories are guarded. And I tell you this with certainty, your household has been marked for spiritual impact. That is why tension has tried to seep into its foundation. Not to destroy it completely, but to dilute its unity. Division weakens influence. Confusion weakens authority. Silent resentment weakens spiritual clarity. And if your home is weakened, its purpose is delayed. You have wondered why small issues seem to grow larger than they should. Why misunderstandings lingered longer than expected. Why certain conversations always felt like they carried more weight than the words themselves. It was not just personality differences. It was pressure on potential. There is something your house is meant to build, release, or model in the coming season. It may be leadership. It may be ministry. It may be generational healing. It may simply be an atmosphere of peace that others feel when they walk through your door. But whatever it is, it matters. And what matters becomes contested. Tonight's shocking moment is not random conflict. It is a final attempt to either fracture your alignment or force you into deeper unity. That is the crossroads. Gradually fortify. If you allow ego to dominate, cracks will widen. If you allow humility and courage to lead, foundations will strengthen. This is why the warning came with urgency. Because destiny moments are disguised as ordinary evenings. No thunder in the sky. No visible sign that history is quietly shifting inside your living room. Just words exchanged. Emotions revealed. Decisions made. But those decisions echo. There is also something you must confront within yourself. You have carried a quiet fear of confrontation. Not because you are weak, but because you value harmony. You would rather absorb discomfort than create it. Yet true harmony is not built on avoidance. It is built on honesty wrapped in grace. The night calls for that honesty. Not explosive honesty. Not careless truth. But steady, grounded clarity. When the situation unfolds, ask yourself one question before responding. Will my words build the future I want to live in, or will they feed the pattern I am trying to break? That single question will guide you through the emotional fog. And remember, influence begins at home. If you cannot cultivate peace within your own walls, external victories will feel hollow. Your house is training ground for greater responsibility. The way you steward this environment prepares you for wider impact. Some of you are called to mentor others. Some are called to lead communities. Some are called to heal generational wounds. But before any of that expands outward, alignment must exist inward. That is why refinement is happening here first. Do not misinterpret refinement as rejection. Gold is refined because it is valuable, not because it is worthless. Pressure reveals impurity so brilliance can emerge. If someone in your house reveals something tonight that disappoints you, see it as exposure for healing, not ammunition for attack. If you are the one whose flaw is revealed, receive correction without defensiveness. Humility accelerates restoration. You may feel tired of being the mature one, tired of choosing restraint, tired of carrying emotional weight. But understand this: maturity is not a burden, it is authority. Authority is earned through restraint. The unseen realm respects self-control, and self-control tonight will shift more than you realize. There is also a blessing hidden in this disruption. After tonight, conversations will become clearer. Boundaries will be more defined. Expectations will be spoken rather than assumed. The air in your home will feel lighter because unspoken tension will no longer dominate it. But that freedom requires passing through this moment first. Do not pray for avoidance. Pray for wisdom. Do not ask for silence. Ask for clarity. Do not hope it disappears. Face it with calm strength. Because your house is not meant to survive in quiet dysfunction. It is meant to thrive in intentional unity. And when this night settles, when emotions cool and understanding begins to rise, you will recognize something powerful. The shock did not break your home. It exposed what needed strengthening. Yet there is still one more layer you must understand. Beneath purpose and refinement lies a personal transformation waiting for you specifically. What this night activates in you will change how you carry authority from this day forward. That revelation is closer than you think. Steadfast heart. What this night is truly activating is not just a shift in your household. It is a transformation within you. The event that unfolds under your roof is a mirror. It will reflect your growth, your triggers, your maturity, and your authority. And what you see in that mirror will determine who you become next. I, Archangel Michael, have watched you evolve through silent battles. You have endured misunderstandings without collapsing. You have carried responsibilities without applause. You have questioned yourself in private while appearing strong in public. But tonight is different. Tonight, your strength will not be silent. It will be visible. There is a new level of authority trying to emerge from within you. Not loud authority, not controlling authority, but grounded spiritual leadership. And leadership is revealed under pressure. When the shocking moment surfaces in your house, your first internal reaction will tell you where you are still healing. If anger rises quickly, there is still a wound asking for attention. If fear surfaces, there is still insecurity seeking reassurance. If calm steadiness flows naturally, that is proof of growth. Do not judge yourself harshly for what surfaces. Simply observe it. Awareness is advancement. This is the deeper reason tonight matters. It is not only about correcting external patterns. It is about elevating your internal posture. You cannot carry future responsibilities with yesterday's emotional reflexes. You cannot step into higher influence while reacting from old pain. Something in you must mature tonight. And maturity is often born in moments you did not schedule. You may realize that you have been shrinking yourself to avoid conflict. You may recognize that you have been overcompensating to maintain peace. Or you may discover that you have been holding resentment quietly while pretending everything was fine. Whatever realization comes, welcome it. It is information for growth. The atmosphere in your house will feel intense for a reason. Intensity forces clarity. It removes masks. It brings truth to the surface. And when truth surfaces, transformation becomes possible. Do not waste this moment by falling into old habits. Stand tall emotionally. Speak slowly. Listen fully. and choose responses that align with who you are becoming, not who you used to be. There is also something important you must understand about spiritual authority. Authority is not proven by dominance. It is proven by restraint. Anyone can react. Few can respond with wisdom under pressure. Tonight, you are being given the opportunity to demonstrate that wisdom. If this message is opening your eyes right now, do not keep it hidden. Share it with someone who needs this exact preparation before their evening unfolds. Like this message so it reaches beyond your screen and into other homes that are unaware of the shift approaching. Comment below what you feel stirring in your spirit as you listen. Your voice adds strength to this community. And if you have not yet subscribed, this is the moment to align yourself. Subscribe and become part of a growing circle of spiritually alert individuals who refuse to let chaos dictate their homes. When you engage, when you comment, when you share, you are amplifying protection and awareness. You are helping this message travel where it is urgently needed, because what is about to happen next goes even deeper. After the initial shock passes, there will be a quiet window, a moment when emotions settle and reflection begins. That window is critical. In the space, you will have the chance to set new standards, not through lectures, not through force, but through clarity. Clarity about what is acceptable. Clarity about what will change. Clarity about how your home will function moving forward. Do not miss that window by retreating into silence or escalating further. It is a sacred opportunity. Some of you will feel a surprising sense of empowerment tonight, as if something clicked, as if you finally saw the dynamic clearly. That clarity is your elevation. You are stepping into a new internal strength. And here is the truth. Once you step into it, you cannot go back to unconscious living. You cannot pretend not to see what you now understand. Awareness demands action. But hold on, because what follows this internal shift will challenge you in a way you did not expect. There is a conversation that must happen after the shock. A defining exchange that will either seal the breakthrough or reopen the cycle. What you choose in that moment will echo far beyond tonight. Stay with this, because the next revelation will show you how to handle that defining exchange with precision and power. Brave soul, the defining exchange I warned you about is closer than you think. After the initial shock settles, after the raised voices quiet down or the unexpected truth lands heavily in the room, there will come a conversation that feels different from the rest. It will not carry the same heat. It will carry weight. And that weight will determine the future atmosphere of your house. I, Archangel Michael, am urging you to approach that moment with sacred awareness. This is not the time for sarcasm. It is not the time for subtle jabs disguised as honesty. It is not the time to remind someone of every past mistake. This is the time for precision. The words you choose in that exchange will either build a bridge or reinforce a wall. You may feel justified in expressing everything at once. You may feel that this is your opportunity to release weeks or months of bottled emotion. But uncontrolled release creates damage. Controlled clarity creates direction. Pause before you speak. Ask yourself what outcome you truly desire. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be restored? Do you want to win the argument, or do you want to secure peace in your home? Those two goals rarely travel together. The defining exchange will likely begin with vulnerability from someone. It may be awkward. It may be incomplete. It may not sound polished. But listen beyond the surface. Sometimes people do not have the language to express what they feel clearly. Listen for intention, not just wording. If you interrupt too quickly, the bridge collapses. Here is also something important you must remember. Not every truth needs to be spoken in one night. Timing matters. Wisdom knows when to plant a seed and when to wait. If emotions are still raw, keep your words measured. Let understanding grow gradually. Your calm presence will shift the room more than dramatic declarations ever could. You have been prepared for this moment because you carry influence in your household. Whether you realize it or not, others watch your reactions closely. They measure the temperature of the room by your tone. If you escalate, they escalate. If you soften, they soften. This is quiet leadership. Do not underestimate it. The defining exchange may also reveal something about you that you did not expect. You may hear how your actions have been perceived. You may discover that something you thought was harmless caused unintended hurt. Receive that information with humility. Growth requires courage on both sides. If apologies are necessary, offer them sincerely, not defensively, not conditionally. A sincere apology has power. It resets emotional alignment. And if forgiveness is required, extend it intentionally. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting wisdom. It means choosing not to weaponize the past. You can forgive and still establish boundaries. You can forgive and still expect change. This is maturity in motion. As the conversation unfolds, you will sense a turning point, a subtle shift in energy. The heaviness will begin to lift. The room will feel less charged. That is your confirmation that the cycle is weakening. But be careful. After breakthroughs, there is often a temptation to return to normal without making practical adjustments. Do not rush back into routine without addressing what must change. Set clear expectations. Define new standards gently but firmly. If communication needs improvement, say so. If respect needs strengthening, express it. If boundaries must be drawn, draw them calmly. This is not about control. It is about protection of peace. Tonight is not meant to leave you drained. It is meant to leave you aligned. And here is something powerful. Once alignment is established in your house, you will feel it immediately. The air will feel lighter. Your thoughts will feel clear. Even your rest will feel deeper. That is what happens when tension no longer hides beneath the surface. However, there is still a spiritual dimension unfolding behind what you can see. The resistance that hovered over your home will not disappear quietly. It will test the new boundaries you establish. It will attempt subtle returns through minor irritations or misunderstandings in the coming days. Do not be surprised by that. Consistency will seal the breakthrough. If you remain steady tomorrow and the next day, the pattern will lose its grip permanently. But if you relax too quickly and allow old habits to re-enter, the cycle will attempt to rebuild itself. This is why awareness must continue beyond tonight. You have crossed a threshold. You are no longer unaware of the dynamics within your house. You are no longer reacting blindly. You are leading intentionally. And yet, there is a final revelation waiting for you, one that explains why this entire night had to happen now, at this specific time in your life. What you are stepping into next requires the version of you that emerged from this very confrontation. That truth will change how you see everything that just occurred. Anointed guardian of your household, now you must understand why this night was scheduled in heaven's timing and not yours. What unfolded within your walls was not simply about conflict resolution or emotional maturity. It was preparation for acceleration. There is movement approaching your life, and your house could not enter that movement carrying hidden instability. I, Archangel Michael, have seen the doors that are beginning to open around you. Opportunities, canarians, responsibilities, expansion. But expansion without alignment creates collapse. Before elevation, there must be strengthening. Before increase, there must be order. The night brought order. You may not feel triumphant yet. You may still feel emotionally tender. But do not confuse tenderness with weakness. Tender ground is ready for new seeds. The disruption you experienced softened hardened areas within your home. Pride softened. Silence softened. Assumptions softened. Now new understanding can be planted. There is something significant about timing. If this confrontation had happened months ago, it would have led to greater damage because you were not yet ready. If it had been delayed further, misalignment would have deepened. This exact moment was chosen because you now carry the awareness to steward it correctly. Heaven doth not waste disruption. And here is what you must grasp. Your household is entering a season where unity will be tested by opportunity. When doors open, stress can increase. Schedules shift. Financial decisions arise. New environments introduce new pressures. If your foundation were still cracked with silent tension, those external pressures would have shattered it. Instead, tonight reinforced it. The shock was reinforcement disguised as disturbance. There is also a spiritual recalibration that took place. The atmosphere over your home shifted when truth was spoken and received. What was once lingering in shadows lost authority. And when shadow loses authority, clarity increases. You will notice this in small ways. Conversations will feel more direct. Laughter may return more naturally. Even moments of disagreement will carry less hostility because there is now a baseline of honesty. But do not take this lightly. Maintenance of peace requires intention. Continue the practices that brought alignment. Communicate clearly. Address small issues before they grow. Pray over your home regularly. Speak words that build rather than erode. You are not just protecting walls. You are protecting purpose. Because the acceleration coming toward you is real. Some of you will receive unexpected news in the coming weeks. An invitation. A promotion. A new assignment. A relocation possibility. Or a sudden responsibility that requires unity at home. When it arrives, you will understand why tonight had to happen first. Preparation always precedes promotion. And let me say this clearly, do not romanticize peace as the absence of challenge. Peace is strength under control. You prove tonight that you can hold strength without losing stability. That is growth. If this message is confirming what you are already sensing, seal it with agreement. Type "My house is aligned" in the comments if you feel the shift that has taken place. Blessing code 818 is now released over your home as a sign of new beginnings anchored in unity. And as this new beginning settles over you, understand that what happened tonight is not only about your house. There are countless households standing on the edge of similar moments without warning. When you choose to support this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are sowing into alignment for families you may never meet. Scripture declares, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy." And tonight many sowed tears in hard conversations. Your generosity becomes oil poured into lamps that are about to flicker out. As you give, you are declaring that no home should walk into refinement without guidance. This is not a transaction. It is participation in heaven's strategy. Release your seed now and let it speak protection over another family's night. Those who respond in obedience will see doors open in unexpected ways. Step into this moment boldly and activate your support. The alignment in your house has begun something far greater than you realize. What follows will test not your stability, but your consistency. And consistency is what transforms a breakthrough into a new lifestyle. There is one final layer to reveal. the personal assignment that comes with this alignment. What you are stepping into next is not just shared responsibility. It is individual calling sharpened by this very experience. Steady flame of resilience. What you experienced was not only about your household's unity, it was about sharpening your individual calling. Alignment at home has unlocked clarity within you, and clarity is the foundation of assignment. I, Archangel Michael, now speak directly to your personal journey. There has been a quiet stirring in your spirit for some time, a sense that you are meant to step into something more intentional, more visible, more impactful. But internal hesitation and household instability have held you back. It is difficult to pursue calling when your foundation feels uncertain. Now that foundation has been strengthened. This is why the night unfolded the way it did. When your environment stabilizes, your confidence rises. When tension decreases, focus increases. And when focus increases, direction becomes clear. You are entering a season where your voice will matter more. Your decisions will influence more. Your consistency will be observed more closely. Whether in your workplace, your community, your ministry, or your relationships, you are stepping into expanded influence. But expanded influence requires disciplined character. The confrontation that took place was training. It trained you to pause before reacting. It trained you to listen beyond surface words. It trained you to choose long-term peace over short-term satisfaction. These are not small lessons. These are leadership principles. You may not see yourself as a leader. You may think leadership belongs to those with titles or platforms. But leadership begins in private spaces. It begins in how you manage tension, how you steward responsibility, how you respond when challenged. You pass through refinement, and refinement produces authority. There is something else you must confront honestly. You have doubted your ability to handle greater responsibility. You have questioned whether you are emotionally strong enough, spiritually mature enough, or disciplined enough. Tonight was your answer. You handled what once would have overwhelmed you. You stayed grounded where you once would have escalated. You listened where you once would have defended. That is growth. Do not minimize it. This personal shift will now begin to manifest outwardly. You may find yourself speaking with greater clarity in other areas of life. You may notice increased confidence when making decisions. You may feel less intimidated by difficult conversations. That is not coincidence. It is activation. But understand this: growth must be maintained. Do not slip back into passivity now that tension has eased. Continue practicing intelligent mitigation. Continue setting healthy boundaries. Continue observing your own emotional triggers and addressing them before they control you. To leadership proceed to public leadership. There may also be new spiritual sensitivity rising within you. After alignment, perception sharpens. You may discern shifts in atmosphere more quickly. You may sense when something feels off before it becomes visible. Use that sensitivity wisely. It is not for suspicion. It is for preparation. Your home with the training ground. The world beyond your door is the assignment field. And here is the truth. The same strength you demonstrated tonight will be required again, but in a different setting. Perhaps in a professional negotiation. Perhaps in guiding a friend through crisis. Perhaps in making a bold personal decision that others do not immediately understand. When that moment arrives, remember this night. Remember how calm shifted chaos. Remember how clarity weakened confusion. Remember how restraint strengthened influence. You are no longer reacting to life blindly. You are navigating it intentionally. There will be days ahead when you feel stretched. Expansion often feels uncomfortable at first. But discomfort does not mean misalignment. It means growth. Stay anchored in the discipline you practiced tonight. Stay committed to communication over avoidance. Stay willing to confront issues early rather than allowing them to accumulate. And above all, stay aware that you are being positioned for something greater than comfort. Your household's alignment was step 1. Your personal activation is step 2. But there remains one more dimension to this message, the unseen opposition, that will attempt to test your new level of maturity. Growth attracts resistance, not to destroy you, but to reveal whether the change is temporary or permanent. The coming test will not look dramatic. It will appear subtle. Perhaps a minor disagreement, a frustrating delay, an unexpected inconvenience. The real test will be whether you revert to old reflexes or remain in your new posture. That is where consistency becomes destiny. What you choose in those small moments will confirm the transformation. And there is still one final revelation waiting, a closing instruction that will seal everything you have walked through tonight and establish a covering over your home moving forward. Guardian of new beginnings, the subtle test I warned you about will not announce itself with drama. It will arrive quietly, almost deceptively small. And that is precisely why it matters. Great transformations are not secured in grand moments alone. They are secured in ordinary reactions that follow extraordinary nights. I, Archangel Michael, tell you this so you will not be caught unaware. After alignment, there is always observation. Not from a place of judgment, but from a place of confirmation. Has the lesson truly settled within you, or was it only emotional intensity that carried you through? The coming days will reveal that answer. You may experience a minor misunderstanding again, a small irritation, a delay in plans, a tone in someone's voice that once would have triggered you instantly. The difference now is awareness. You will recognize the fork in the road within seconds. One path leads back to old reflexes. The other leads forward into sustained maturity. Do not underestimate those seconds. Transformation lives in the pause. If you choose calm again, even when the issue feels trivial, you seal the breakthrough permanently. If you choose clarity again, without sarcasm or emotional withdrawal, you establish a new culture within your home. Culture is not created in one night. It is created through repetition of intentional choices. And repetition is what will now be required of you. There is also something powerful unfolding spiritually. When you resist old patterns consistently, you weaken their influence permanently. Patterns thrive on repetition. When repetition stops, patterns starve. The subtle opposition that once hovered over your house will begin to fade because it no longer finds agreement. Agreement is power. If anger finds agreement, it grows. If peace finds agreement, it expands. You are now aware enough to choose what you agree with. This awareness must extend beyond your home. Carry it into every interaction, into your workplace, into your friendships, into your private thoughts. Speak to yourself with the same maturity you are practicing with others. Self-criticism can be just as destructive as outward conflict. Replace harsh inner dialogue with constructive reflection. You are building a new internal environment as well as an external one. And let this truth anchor you. Consistency does not require perfection. There may still be moments when you respond imperfectly. It does not erase growth. What matters is correction. Recognize it quickly. Adjust quickly. Apologize quickly if needed. Speed of correction strengthens character. You are no longer living unconsciously. You are living deliberately. If this message has walked with you through this entire journey and you feel the shift taking root, engage with it intentionally. Like this message so it continues to reach homes standing at similar crossroads. Share it with someone who is about to face their own defining exchange. Comment below what has changed inside you since the beginning of this night. Your testimony may unlock courage in someone else. And if you have not yet subscribed, this is your moment to commit to continued growth. Subscribe and stand among those who refuse to live reactively. Join this community and even consider becoming a member if you desire deeper alignment and consistent reminders of who you are becoming. Your engagement does more than support a channel. It strengthens a movement of intentional living. Because what you are stepping into next will require community reinforcement. There will be moments ahead when fatigue tempts you to slip back into ease. Ease that ignores tension. Ease that avoids hard conversations. Ease that sacrifices long-term peace for short-term quiet. Do not surrender to that temptation. Remember what quiet misalignment felt like. Remember how heavy the atmosphere was before clarity entered. You have tasted alignment now. Do not trade it for convenience. The next phase of your journey will not focus on confrontation. It will focus on construction, building new rhythms, establishing new standards, creating habits that protect what has been restored. And yet, before we close this chapter, there is one final covering that must be spoken over your house. A declaration that seals the work completed and sets a boundary around your peace. That final instruction will anchor everything permanently and position your home under a strengthened shield moving forward. Faithful keeper of your household, now we arrive at the sealing. Everything that has unfolded, the warning, the shock, the confrontation, the clarity, the consistency, has been leading to this moment of covering. Breakthrough without sealing can solely leak away, but what is sealed with intention becomes established. I, Archangel Michael, stand at the threshold of your home in this very hour, not with urgency now, but with authority. The atmosphere has shifted because you responded differently. You chose maturity over impulse. You chose courage over avoidance. You chose clarity over silent tension. And because you chose wisely, your house is ready for reinforcement. Sealing is not dramatic. It is deliberate. It begins with acknowledgement. Acknowledge how far you have come in a short span of time. Acknowledge the strength it took to remain calm when old habits tried to rise. Acknowledge the humility it required to listen and adjust. Gratitude for growth strengthens growth. Now, understand what sealing truly means. It means you no longer entertain what once had access. You no longer give emotional reactions permission to dominate your environment. You no longer allow unspoken resentment to accumulate quietly. You address issues early. You speak with intention. You correct gently but firmly. This is your new normal. There may still be disagreements in your home. Alignment does not eliminate differences, but differences handled with respect no longer threaten unity. That is the transformation. You have moved from fragile peace to stable peace. Stable peace is protected by boundaries. Some boundaries will be practical. Clear communication about expectations. Agreed rhythms of conversation. Time set aside to reconnect intentionally. Other boundaries will be internal. Refusing to assume the worst. Refusing to let pride interrupt understanding. Refusing to escalate when calm is possible. Every boundary you uphold becomes a brick in a stronger foundation. There is also something spiritual taking place beyond what you see. When a household passes through refinement and responds with maturity, a higher level of protection is granted. Not because you are perfect, but because you are intentional. Intentional homes create spiritual authority. Your home is becoming a place of clarity rather than confusion. But sealing also requires vigilance. Not fear. Vigilance. Stay aware of subtle shifts in tone or attitude. Not to criticize, but to correct gently before small issues grow. Consistency is your safeguard. You will notice over the next few days that your internal reactions feel different. Where you once felt immediate irritation, you may now feel measured response. Where you once felt defensive, you may now feel curious. That is evidence of internal rewiring. Do not rush past it. Celebrate small victories. If a conversation remains calm that once would have escalated, acknowledge it. If someone opens up more honestly than before, appreciate it. Reinforcement of positive change strengthens it. And remember, you are not responsible for controlling everyone in your house. You are responsible for stewarding your response. Influence spreads through example more effectively than through force. There is peace settling over your space even now. If you were to walk from room to room tonight, you might sense a subtle difference. Lighter air, quieter thoughts, a feeling of reset. That is not imagination. That is alignment solidifying. Yet before this message concludes completely, one final declaration must be spoken. A declaration that establishes long-term covering and activates sustained harmony. It is not about preventing all future conflict. It is about ensuring that no conflict gains destructive power again. The next words will not introduce new revelation. It will anchor everything that has already been revealed. They will mark your house as protected territory, guarded by maturity, strengthened by honesty, and sustained by consistent intention. Prepare your heart to receive that final covering. It will not be loud. It will be firm. And once spoken, you will step forward not in fear of future shocks, but in confidence that whatever arises, your house now knows how to stand. Courageous soul, this is the final sealing over your house. Everything that happened tonight was not an accident. It was alignment by design. What felt shocking at first was actually protection in motion. What felt uncomfortable was correction wrapped in mercy. And what felt intense was heaven refusing to let your home drift any further from its true strength. I, Archangel Michael, now declare the covering over your household. From this night forward, your home will not be ruled by silent tension. It will not be governed by pride. It will not be manipulated by unspoken resentment. The cycle that once attempted to repeat itself has been interrupted. The pattern that once seemed familiar has been weakened. And the authority that has risen within you will not go back to sleep. You have crossed a threshold. You are no longer reacting unconsciously. You are responding intentionally. You are no longer tolerating quiet imbalance. You are addressing issues with calm strength. That shift alone has changed the spiritual atmosphere of your house. But sealing requires declaration. To hear this clearly, your home is marked by clarity. Your rooms are marked by peace. Your conversations are marked by maturity. Your doorway is guarded by discernment. No subtle opposition will find agreement here again. No whisper of division will grow without being confronted. No emotional storm will dominate without meeting grounded stability. You have learned how to pause. You have learned how to listen. You have learned how to respond without surrendering your authority. And that is why your house is now stronger than it was before the shock. There will still be challenges in the future. Life does not eliminate tension completely. But now you carry the tools to navigate it. Now your foundation is reinforced. Now your awareness is sharp. You will not fear the next difficult conversation. You will not avoid necessary truth. You will not shrink to keep temporary peace. You will stand balanced, calm, and clear. This is growth. This is maturity. This is protection activated through obedience. Tonight was not meant to scare you. It was meant to prepare you. And because you listened, because you received the warning instead of ignoring it, your house has stepped into a new season. A season of intentional unity. A season of strength and trust. A season where peace is maintained, not assumed. Stand in the center of your home once more after hearing this and declare that what was restored will remain protected. Speak it aloud. Let your voice mark the shift. And if this entire journey has resonated with you from beginning to end, seal it with agreement. Type "My house is sealed" in the comments if you receive this covering. Blessing code 1212 is now activated over your household as a sign of divine order and sustained harmony. Now hear this final call. The same way your home was warned before shock arrived, there are countless others walking toward nights like this without guidance. The word declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." This is not about supporting a channel. This is about fueling a mission that guards households before they fracture. When you release a super thanks, when you join as a member, or when you sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are placing oil in lamps across nations. You are becoming part of heaven's early warning system. As you give, you declare, "I will not let another house fall without light." This is your moment of prophetic participation. Do not scroll away from obedience. Those who sow into protection will reap stability in their own walls. Activate your support now and stand as a guardian of this mission. Your house is covered. Your authority is awakened. And from this night forward, you will not merely live in your home, you will lead it.